The Fairfax Pavilion.
Yay, it's looking good.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome. I'm Chris Bell. I'm here from Wayfinder Books, the bookstore in town that's super happy to host Len, and Friend of the Devil, author of Friend of the Devil, and I'm excited to hear about his wild ride with Jerry Garcia and the Grateful Dead. Raise a hand, how many of you were at the show at the Polo Field last weekend? Awesome. All right, well, without further ado, I'm going to let these two get into it. Stephen and Molly, the owners of the bookstore, are really excited that you came. We have a bunch of other events coming up, both at the Women's Building and in Point Reyes Station, so as well as back here again. This won't be our only Dead event. You can't have a bookstore in Fairfax without having multiple Grateful Dead events a year. So without further ado, I'll let these two get into it and chop it up.
I don't know how choppy it will be, we'll see, so you'll be the judge. So first of all, my name is Gabriel Barkin. I am a Woodacre resident. I am an author and photographer, among many other things, and I write for an online journal called Grateful Web. It's easy to find, gratefulweb.com. And I encourage you to check that out. A couple of good stories and lots of good pictures from this past weekend's event and lots of good shows. I am also a lifelong Deadhead, or at least since I was a teenager, and I did see the Grateful Dead about 250 times. I'm guessing there are some people who probably saw them even more than that. I cooked for Jerry Garcia a couple of times. I've had Bob Weir wish me happy birthday and had several conversations with Phil Lesh, and one of my kids was born to the soundtrack that Mickey Hart recorded from his son's fetal heartbeat. So I'd like to think I've got a little bit of credibility, but not nearly as much as our guest today, Len Dell'Amico. So before I get into introducing Len, I just want to thank our host today. So that's Fairfax Recreation and Wayfinder Bookshop. And I looked at their websites, and Wayfinder Bookshop, which of course is a smaller sister store to the Point Reyes bookstore, on their website they point out that books are tools for navigation, for connecting across time and space. And on the Fairfax Recreation website, they talk about our activities and safe spaces, I like to think this is a safe space, encourage social connections, human development, and lifelong learning. So, books are for navigation, for connection across time and space. Fairfax Recreation is all about social connections, human development, lifelong learning. So we're here to experience some of all of that with Len and his stories and about both his work with the Grateful Dead, also his own experiences, and some fun stuff about how all that connects to Marin County. So Len Dell'Amico met Jerry Garcia in 1980. He was asked to produce what was really the first coast-to-coast movie theater pay-per-view live stream event of the Radio City Music Hall concerts that fall in New York City, of course. And he became the Grateful Dead's, as he likes to say, video and film guy. That's actually what Jerry called him. He worked for the Grateful Dead for 15 years, including producing several of their music videos, as well as several live performances in the last, I think it was for about 8 years, 10 years or so, when they played football and baseball stadiums. There was a live video stream in-house with both footage of the band and also special effects, and that was Len and his team. Before that, Len worked for, remind me, what was the theater in New York?
Capitol Theater,
New Jersey. Thank you, in New Jersey. And it is gone, and I know that Len produced video for probably every live touring act you can think of from the 1970s and beyond. And he has a lot of experience beyond that. He'll talk a little bit later about his own movie and that was filmed here in Fairfax. And we'll get into some fun stuff about Jerry Garcia, which of course I think is some of the things people really want to hear about. So please welcome Len Dell'Amico. I'm just about to ask that. So Len really wants to know who has already read the book.
Oh, no.
And
Got it.
that's a good start, and we will point out, of course, there are plenty of copies of the book available here. for sale, and I believe Len might be coaxed into signing them for you. We'll see about that.
$100.
$100, right? A little extra, yeah. Okay. So rather than have me tell you why Len put out a book, that's the first question I have for you, Len. Why did you write a book?
That's actually kind of easy. I was in mid-career by the time I came out here and
We
started
can, we
working.
can hear because the microphone is not put at the right place.
Gotta
It
work
should
the
be,
mic,
should be
man.
in front of your mouth, man.
That didn't
You know what I
last.
mean?
Put it where you want it.
You know, Fairfax. We're gonna tell you how it is.
Oh, whatever.
What?
That make more sense.
Perfect.
Test.
Better.
This is
Good
my
job,
daughter, Kylie.
Thank you, Kylie.
Hi.
Thank you, Kylie. You said it so.
Okay, so I was in mid-career by the time I came out here. And what was the question?
Why did you write a book?
Oh, right. And it lasted a long time, like you said, and I quickly realized that this was pretty interesting, this crowd of people and this subculture. Other artists that I worked with didn't have their own subculture, you know, and they weren't as crazy. Some crazier, actually. Then we stopped working together in '91, but Jerry and I continued to be good friends, and I got busy with other stuff. But then when he passed away 30 years ago tomorrow,
We can hear.
shortly after that, I realized that
Thank you.
I would have to write a book. I had notes that I did contemporaneously, just because, but with every passing year and decade, it was actually a monkey on my back.
He
Because,
passed in 95, did he?
what's that?
Very passed in 95.
Yeah, that's right. 30 years ago tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it was a monkey on my back because I felt obligated and indebted to the dead, and especially Garcia, for what I learned about work, my own work, and how to work with others, and also about life. Since we were good friends, there was a lot of talk about philosophy and spirituality and what works with people and what doesn't. And so decades went by, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write this book. And then I woke up one day about 4 years ago, I guess it was in COVID, and it was like, well, when exactly are you planning to do this? I don't talk about my age, but nobody lasts forever. And so then it was a real, like, you gotta do this. And one day it was like, okay. And started to work on the notes, and also just started to write down memories. Not in any organized way, but fighting it off, not wanting to do it because it was much harder work than directing or producing for me. And one day I had the epiphany that happened in a moment. Those are real things. I needed a voice for the narrator, because it turns out a memoir is like theater. It's just a person talking to the reader about something. It's more like theater, like Spalding Gray or something. And that person has to have a character that would be me, but it's really just a part of me. We're several parts. And I'm going, oh, that's good. That's the problem. You have to solve that. And then the next minute it was, a New York techno nerd is injected straight into the heart of an insane subcultural phenomenon. That's it. That is the great angle. And I can also get humor whenever I want it, because it was where I met them was always funny, because I'm from New York, and I'm very different from a lot of them in many ways. And did that answer the question?
I think that's a great start.
Yeah, that's why I
That's a
had to
great
do
start.
it, and it took years of was just
Thank you.
very hard for me. I just, being alone with a word processor is a nightmare for me.
Yeah.
But then when it was over, it was such a fantastic relief. Just getting the book is one thing, but having the monkey on my back on, and I still feel that way.
Well, you did finish the book, and we're all lucky for that. And at some point after you finished the book, it needed a title. So even though in the book you actually don't talk about the title until toward the end, in and afterward, exactly. But it's called "Friend of the Devil." I think almost everybody, if not everybody here, knows that's a Grateful Dead song and lyric. And I think it could be seen as a salacious title. Here's you and your friend with the devil. But why don't you tell us what the title is and how that came about?
Well, I'm committed to telling nothing but the truth about this project. That was part of the rules before I started. And we had a bunch of titles. It might have been called Fearless, or a few other things, but I have a team of people who are looking out for my own good. And
That's a good thing.
yeah, it sure is. And they were unanimous. The Friend of the Devil was the way to go. Jerry was actually a trickster, which is a very real, what's the Joseph Campbell word? Archetype.
Yes.
That exists in many cultures through many times. The trickster plays the role of bringing the powerful down to the level of regular people when it's necessary to embarrass somebody and say, who do you think you are, that kind of thing. And they're devilish, but well, as I said before, they're not Satan. If Satan was here, he'd be in the White House. Wait a minute. They're tricksters.
Wow.
And in the song, the narrator is running from various terrible things, and he's sad and lonely, and he winds up in a cave in the hills, and the devil is there and loans him $20, which back then would have been a couple hundred. And that's not a satanic move, that's a trickster. And then in the next verse, he takes the 20 back. So, yes, he's the devil and I'm the friend, but that's the explanation of the title.
So at this point, before we get more into it, we're going to let Len read a little bit from the book, and then we'll dive deep into his relationship with Jerry and some of the fun stuff that Len got to do with the band. And later we'll have a chance for
Any
Q&A as
of
well.
Jerry's 6 children here or grandchildren? Nobody?
What say you?
I asked if any of Jerry's big family, you know, he had 6 kids and many grandchildren.
Five.
Nobody's here? But what?
Do you understand the question? She's asking if any of Jerry's family are here tonight.
Is there
Not as far as I can
grandchildren
tell.
or children or?
No.
No.
It's pretty
We're
much
going to do
different.
Q&A at the end.
Oh, I just hope you can turn it up, that's all.
Yeah, we cannot hear anything really.
Maybe position the mic similar to yours below your mouth and like facing up.
Wherever you
That will help
position it, he
us
has
to watch.
aim for it.
You insert it, and that'll drop it, and then you can drop it down.
Can it be lowered? If it can't, that's a problem.
Drop this down. So the idea of pointing it up